Welcome to the Old World Fanatics, your Warhammer fantasy podcast to quench your hobby thirst for all things the Old World. I'm one of your hosts, Gommo. I'm back again with Andrew and Josh. How's everyone this evening?
Good.
Not bad.
Good, thank
Not
you.
bad,
How are you?
Not bad.
Back
Pretty
again.
good,
Yet
man.
another week.
Yeah.
Episode 40 of the Old World Fanatics. We are up there now. We're officially over the hill. Is that what it is?
No.
Always a one.
Podcast begin at 40.
Yeah.
Podcast live.
It's the new 50. No, I don't know, whatever it is, the new 30. I don't know. Totally got that wrong. Anyway, welcome for those who are returning listeners or new listeners. Obviously, we're an Old World Fanatics, Old World podcast, I should say. We're going to cover a couple of things today. Some tournament sort of chatter around a new cool tournament. Not new, our favourite one getting announced just on the weekend. So cover a little bit of that. Well, there was actually some news. I did put in the show notes, which I'll write. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, price rises. I forgot to add it in there. Maybe I'll ask you what you think of it. But outside of that, we didn't really have a huge main topic. So we have decided to put together a series we're calling, and that's a bad name, but maybe you guys can suggest something better. Hits, misses, and your favourites. So basically, we want to go through sections of the rule book over the next, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks, and just go through what we think are hits, which are sort of new things that Games Workshop added into the game that we like. Misses, stuff maybe they added we don't like, or that they should have added and they didn't. And then just overall, like out of that section, like what do we like about it, or that could be an existing thing, could be one of the new things. Doesn't really matter. But I just thought rather than sort of go. Other people have sort of done, rule book reviews and section, combat review and stuff. And I thought just something slightly different. Just 3 months in, what have we found? That sort of stuff. So today, having said that, today we're covering, if I can find it again, basically as we just changed this, the general game principles, model profiles, all that sort of stuff through to formations, units, troop types. So I guess the beginning of the basic rules until you hit like movement. So... It's probably, hopefully not too dry, but they've added a few little things in there. That,
there's some core game principles hiding in there.
Yeah.
Sure, I moisten it up a bit. Make it a bit interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know, that's our topics for today's and the hobby and all our usual ramblings. So hopefully people are on board with any of that. Before we kick off, though, we should shout out our Patreons who, again, for those who don't know.
Legends.
Yeah, our patrons. We do have a Patreon over at patreon.com/oldworldfanatics, just for a small couple of bucks a month that just goes towards helping us run the costs of this software that we're recording on, basically. Outside of that, we also get a shout out and a couple, occasionally we do have a few release stuff that we talk to those guys about and a private Discord channel and stuff. So, you get a little bit, but obviously we're not asking for heaps. It's just a little bit of shelf support, and we've got a great bunch of guys and girls probably on there that, help us do that. So if you're looking for supporting us, that'd be great. If you don't want to do that, we're obviously on YouTube and really appreciate your likes and follows and things like that. So anyway, without further ado, let's run through our current Patreons, and I'll go back to paid. So we do have a free tier, so you can jump on that if you guys want. So thanks again to Matt Morris, Thomas Vavasau, Griff, Jess Tors, Wood Duck, Josh Griffiths, Ninanawam, Daniel Broadstock, Jonathan Wengler, Elliot Mitchum, Chris Turnbull, Gilthos Draconos, Julian Diesel, Cameron Atkinson, Richard William Payne, Robert Z, and here we go, Sniff Wax Spit Viper. He's our resident, change his name every episode. I cannot even see that image. I don't know.
Can't see the image. It's a snake. Looks like it's projecting some venom.
It's going up. It's spitting. Yeah, I get it now. It's very small on the screen. Sniff Wax.
You can see it pretty well on the website.
Yeah. Andrew McAllister, Bobby Gherkin, Gunwich, Sean Ritchie, Todd Lloyd, and Chapstick. So, yeah, great. Thanks, guys. 25 of you helping us turn up every week, basically.
The heroes.
It's good. Yeah. So, thanks for that, guys.
Before you move on from the Patreon, you put a poll up there, didn't you, the other day?
Oh, only like 2 hours ago.
Oh, 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Can you look in it if you're a free or
I
is that
think so, but I haven't actually. That's a good point.
Because I tried to look at
don't
it
know.
and I couldn't see it because I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not
so
part of
maybe
it.
maybe I've just selected it. You have to be a paid Patreon. But anyway, that was our. I did ask our Patreons what faction focus we should do next. So again, if you're new to us, we'll do a few YouTube different videos other than the podcast. One of which is faction reviews or faction focuses. I think we've done about 6. Is it, Andrew? Something like that, maybe.
Sure.
Feels like about that. So there's still a heap more to go.
I'm
And
yet to
obviously-
participate in any of them.
Yeah, well, you
always
will
need
be.
to.
Well, actually, you should be. I'm just looking at the
should
current
be.
vote total. 7 people have voted. Bretonians are number 1 at the moment. So maybe.
Ooh.
Oh, right.
Josh can lead that.
Maybe
better-
Josh will have to lead that.
Better
one.
get off my butt.
I also asked
episodes.
hit YouTube up about that, and I think someone actually, ironically, well, not ironically, but said Bretonians or Tomb Kings, which is kind of interesting because we've avoided them because they're sort of the launch ones and stuff. But maybe they're probably the better ones to do soon because we probably know the most about them. So. But anyway, that only just went up today, so I'll see if I can change it to open.
By the time this comes out, that will be more than 24 hours, right?
Yeah, very true. Actually, it'll be like yes, it takes about a day or so. Well, not takes a day, but we do. Yeah, you're exactly right, Josh. He's not a smart vet for nothing. There he goes. He knows this stuff. Cool. Okay, let's get some. Yeah, so I didn't really say there was news until I realized there was. Games Workshop put their announcement out that they're raising prices again. Did you guys
like
see
an annual announcement they have?
Probably. I mean, everyone does it, especially when
out.
inflation's on. I think the interesting thing, as bad as we get it in Australia, was I'm pretty sure we didn't get hit with the last round of price rises because we're already so much up there. But I don't think we're that lucky this time. So I think it is going up a little bit. It's not heaps, but again, it is what it is. I guess it's already expensive. So what's another $2 or $3 a model? I don't know.
Yeah.
The weird thing about like the price rises, they're always like 3%, 4%. And you're like, well, when you add that on, it always ends up being a weird number. Like, Codexes or whatever used to be like $50 and now they're like $93.77.
They're always weird numbers. Yeah. Doesn't quite
Anyway,
make sense.
support your local friendly gaming store, I guess. And and
Was
Games Workshop, let's be honest, but yeah.
Other news, did we discuss the Skaven teaser release last week?
We
The Giselle?
didn't. The Giselle, no. See, I'm really bad this. I was away from Friday till last night, and I've not prepped, as you can tell.
Oh no, we don't need to show it. We just discuss it.
Yeah, no. Talk about it. If you want. I can try
I
find it
haven't
while
seen
you're
it.
talking. It's the like obviously iOS, the new iOS.
Quite similar to the last one. It's just like a cool new version. Like it looks 100% like a Giselle.
Isn't that like? I can't remember what we mentioned last week, but I do remember saying at some point that the cool
Might have
thing
been on
about
Hobby,
this is it
maybe.
feels more. I don't know. It feels like that. Not they've ratcheted back the AOS-ifying of stuff a little bit. If you know what I mean. Like, Like I mean, Cities of Sigmar, you could argue still was, but it's still looked human. You know what I mean? Like it still looked,
it's not too out there.
Sorry, man, I cannot find it. Hey. Oh, hang on. Maybe it's in their whole website. You know, they got the whole iOS range launch thing. Yeah, I can't see. I'll bring it up probably on the video later as post. But yeah, it's the cool thing is, I mean, it looks you could slot it straight in. It doesn't look bad. Or did you find it?
Oh,
I put a link there. I'm not sure how to bring it up into the thing.
Oh, okay. Josh found it. See, he's a legend.
got it?
Yeah. This is Paul. This is the poor guys listening to this and not looking at our YouTube. This is it to share. Let's bring it up quickly. Yeah, this guy here.
Sweet.
It looks good.
That
I mean,
does.
I'd say I'm not a massive experience what the Skaven actually look like because I mean I played against them a bit in 8th, but I didn't really. I don't know. I've never had a Skaven army, so I'm assuming they still look very similar, but just modern and nice.
Yeah, they do. It's a bit. Yeah, I don't know what to say. because it's almost like they got a bit more forearm hair, maybe. And maybe there's a little bit more detail on their face. But Skaven were very like dog-like back in the day, and they've taken them back rat-like, and now they're almost a bit like almost the snout's a bit dog-like again, almost. Like
yeah, that's what you mean. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just my take on it. But no, it's cool. Like lots of little details and stuff on the shield. I like it. It's not getting too far away.
K9.
I love this guy. Then like they've definitely got different. Like, do you reckon? So again, we tried to work this out the other day, but like how many variants of them they have when you're going through the pack? Like I think it was it wasn't the Storm Vermin, it was just the Clan Rats we were looking at last time, trying to work out, is that 10 different sculpts, or is it, so like, because this guy is not that guy, hey, yeah, so it's definitely a couple of different versions of it, whether or not, you build them or you get 3 in a pack, or who knows, I don't know how they work.
Yeah, 3 would be nice. But yeah, it's funny, like, because I've been looking at my Skaven recently, just trying to put a list together. And some stuff has aged terribly. And, well, even the gutter runners and whatnot.
Are the gutter runners the ones with the big fists or whatever they were? Or what was the joke? Was it the gutter runners that seem to have massive club hands or something?
Oh, yeah. You got There's them. Even the plague monks, they've aged not very well.
Have they? Okay.
The clan rats out of Isle of Blood, they're not too bad. I reckon they're still a reasonable sculpt. Same with the storm vermin aren't terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
always thought the plague furnace with the plague monks around it still looked good, but I mean I haven't
Well, the plague furnace by itself.
I haven't come across it in like 8 years now, so I'm probably going off a bad recollection for the plague.
But if you go to the plague monks themselves, they're a bit like just like the arms. They're kind of just the little shroud that they're sort of wearing, like the raggy sort of cloak. It's I don't know. They're not terrible. They're just they're starting to definitely show their age.
Yeah, I think the biggest, I wouldn't say it's, and I don't know if this is intentional or not, but the thing that I'm a little worried or a bit sad about is, as good as these are, it seems to be the community's feeling that Skaven are not a very great Old World army. Do you know what I mean? So I hope that doesn't, I don't know, is that going to dampen people jumping on all this and buying it and building Skaven Old World armies? I'm
trying to find that. That's what I'm doing with my little scheming at the moment. Trying to find a list, because they do have some stuff that seems massively overcosted, and they just seem to be lacking just, I suppose, melee punch in certain units. Not that they've always been a bit of a horde army, but they're lacking a little bit of that. But yeah, we'll see.
Are the club hands of the gutter runners, are those hands about the same size or bigger than the Mr. Flappy of the Bretonian release?
Oh, that's a close one. I'd have to get out the micrometer.
It's going to be a new, it's going to be a new measurement standard. Mr. Flappy hands.
Touche.
Cool. It used to be the Tomb King and the skeleton heads. Now it's moved on. They got big fists and hands too, I guess. But cool. Good point. I totally forgot that was. I don't even know what day that came out, but yeah.
I think that was like last Monday. Like it would have been just after we recorded or something. Because it says 7 days ago.
Sort of that Monday release. Yeah. Anyway, that's cool. I won't cover the. We'll just go straight. Let's go on to tournaments. Do you want to cover Gathering Darkness? We're not going to cover all the tournaments. We just want to touch on a couple that are worth shouting
just a
out.
Quick thing about just a few things. So because there was 20 people, looks like it's been those 20 tickets were either sold out or reserved. So they've actually got some more terrain, I think, and they're going to 30 people shortly to be released. And they put up some more details about the pack as well, which is interesting. One of them is that they're doing the honest wargamer that
the deployment thing.
The deployment thing, where the terrain is what's the word?
Yeah. That's so bad. Not mirrored, but it's mirrored. What's it called? Bloody
Mirrored.
starts with C.
Symmetrical.
Symmetrical. S, not C.
That starts with S.
Symmetrical. Yeah. Okay, right. God, sorry guys, it's Monday. It's night time here. Yeah. Brains are dead.
That was awful.
Yeah.
So it's symmetrical, and it's been played on 20 by 44-inch tables as well.
I don't understand inches in that. Is that AOS size? And 40
That's AOS size.
Yeah,
so it's not 72 by 48.
Gotcha.
You know, it's essentially 5 foot by a little bit under 4.
Oh, is that's not decreed by the Honest Wargamer pack, is it? Did they just
No,
run
that's
it
just
that
the
way
size of
because
tables that the venue has.
That they've
apparently.
got.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I thought they were saying
So that's what that's going to do.
for Honest Wargamer. Yeah,
It is. So they have to adopt the Honest Wargamer pack to that. So all the measurements are all slightly out on the pack, but so that's their intention, which is interesting because I already was wondering, you know, the bigger base sizes, how things would go in 6x4, but it's going to be. I feel like it's going to be all slightly different, slightly cramped potentially.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played on one of those sizes before, so I have no idea. It's an interesting game. Even thinking about, you know, obviously I'm doing those 40k orcs down the track. If I end up playing orcs, I'd be like, yeah, how do you fit all this on and more terrain on a smaller table? And some of the figures are quite big. It starts not looking like I don't know, just to me, it can wreck the immersion a little bit.
I mean, with the Honest Wargamer thing, there's only like 6 pieces of terrain
that one's fine.
per
Yeah, it's
table.
only 6. They're staying to the rule book. Yeah, which is good.
So it won't be. I don't think that
might be terrible. Yeah,
that cramped. But you're just going to have less options for maneuvering.
Actually,
everything's narrower.
Having been screwed around with impassable terrains with my dragon, I sort of don't mind the idea of just the 6 pieces. Not as much stuff on the board. But, not skilled enough to maneuver around them.
As a concept, I'm really not on board with symmetrical terrain. It makes it too much like an esport thing rather than just people playing for fun. So like,
agreed.
I mean, sure, I'll play it and see how it feels, but I suspect they're running it because they haven't run much Warhammer Fantasy before, so they're just like, we'll just play like this because that's
because what
seems like an easy way of running it, you know, rather than think about it.
Yeah, and 40K
exactly. So I feel like this is a 40k AOS style way of running it. If you know what I mean.
I mean, I don't know AOS, but I know 40k pretty much run off standard set terrain too, like as in from Games Workshop. Yeah, and like you'll get like table layouts that you know exactly what the table layout is and stuff. But as a result, like they get quite, you know, the good players get quite detailed on knowing that, you know, like on this table you can get a line of sight this way and through here and hide here and this can't shoot there, and it's like, oh god, more stuff to try and remember. I sort of rather just random
that actually makes it
just wing it a bit,
a higher bar of entry almost, because
well, if you're coming and haven't done that before, you might go, oh god, this guy knows way more about this table than me. It is interesting, but from your point of view with what you were saying about their terrain availability, that's probably a good idea though, because it's only 6 and they're fairly standard and you whack them on.
Yeah, indeed. So it'll be interesting.
Did Ninth ever do this? Ninth Age, did they ever do symmetrical deployments?
Symmetric?
Because I feel like that is built into Warhol. So I'm like, maybe they did. Yeah, you can.
Maybe they did, but it was only after I stopped playing if they did.
Yeah, maybe towards the end. I can't remember, to be honest.
Cool. I love when we put a question out, we'll get an answer. So that'd be good.
Yeah.
We'll know in a day's time.
I thought you were being sarcastic. I love when you put a question out and neither of us know the answer.
Oh, no, we don't know. The listeners will tell us. That's why we run a podcast, so we know how to learn. Cool. And then the cool is that all you had on Gathering Darkness?
That's pretty much all I had in Gathering Darkness.
Yeah. So we did cover. If you guys are listening and first time, we did cover more tournaments last week. We do it every couple of weeks. We don't go overboard. But one tournament in particular, I do need to bring up because it got announced
the big show
weekend, and it is the best tournament in the world. Like, I don't think anyone can argue with that.
No, it goes without saying, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's Castle Assault in Newcastle, our hometown. At least me and Andrews. And it's going back to what it was, Warhammer Fantasy. Well, the latest Warhammer Fantasy. Last year they did 6th edition, but before that, I don't think they were doing many fantasy for a couple of years, and then they obviously did 9th for a little bit.
Yeah, it was 9th going for a bit.
But you know, their peaks were in the 7th editions and stuff, and 8th was big. So it's open back up. There's War Master and Old World running.
Wasn't it getting like 100 players or something in 8th or something? You had the whole room full
because we had people on the stage and down that other little room, and so I don't know. I mean, currently it's around 80 people is sort of the cap, I guess. But I guess we'll just wait and see. So
they're running a War Master tournament
as well,
aren't they?
So, but I think they're always a bit flexible, aren't they, with like the numbers between the two? And if they don't get as many War Masters, they'll just open up more Old World.
Yeah.
Obviously, the exciting thing about Castle, so it's we won't go through the whole pack in detail, but basically, and we'll get Kendall on. If you guys don't know, he's a previous Australian Masters winner, and I mean, he's just an all around good bloke. But basically, Castle Assault founded the idea, as far as I know, from, was it Fury, around this "Don't be a dick" base of comp, which is basically D-pad. So it's not really comped at all. It's just obviously the TO looks at it and goes, "You're being a dick," and resub. And that's basically the rule, because it is a drinking, let's be honest, it's a drinking tournament. Just for you guys who, can't remember Castle Assault, if you have been around or you've never heard of this, basically the winner gets a thing called the Kamoma mug, the cup of, what is it, Mighty Awesomeness, or where is it? Oh, can never remember the name of it.
You can remember the acronym of what it actually.
But anyway, the winner of it gets this mug, and then so on day 1 of the next year, you get unlimited drinks. It just keeps getting filled up. The idea is to get that person totally tanked, and hopefully he doesn't win it twice in a row. That has happened before. I think it might have been, was that Simon Turner won it twice in a row? I think a couple of people have. But basically, usually the winner of the year before is legless by the end of Saturday. Then has a very rough Sunday. So Angus, who we've had on the pod, and he runs his own pod, he's up on Saturday with the Kamoma mug, so that's going to be fun to watch. And see what
it's the Castle Assault mug of Mega Awesome.
Sorry. Yeah, that's it, Mega Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Anyway, so that's just what's fun about that. So I think it's a really cool. It's held in an RSL club upstairs, and the bar's open just for the people upstairs, and it's fun. Anyway, so if you are in Australia, get to Newcastle in August 10th and 11th, and 2,000 points, and don't be a dick. That's pretty much all we need to say about Castle Assault.
Wait, so if Angus doesn't work out, and for whatever reason he can't make it this next year,
I think it drops to the next.
Does it drop to the second?
I think so. I think that might have happened. I
wonder who that'll be.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Well, let's that'd be funny. Let's get ASP.
Oh my god.
I do remember someone one year couldn't have it or something, and so it had to drop anyway. Like they weren't drinking.
I think there's always a right of refusal anyway if you don't want to be drinking.
Yeah, I mean, technically the venue has a responsible service of alcohol, so, but so we don't condone any of any over drinking. Of.
No. Just moderate to
drink responsibly.
Moderate to high.
Yes. Yeah.
Not to the extreme.
Anyway, cool. So it's good to see. I mean, we knew the dates, but now it's all out and registration's open, $60 or something. And get in. We'll just put links on the show notes as usual. If you're in Australia, obviously, you're probably not going to fly over. Well, I mean, you're welcome to fly over if you're overseas. Won't say no. Newcastle's a great place to be in August. So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah. Lovely place.
Let's smash into some hobby time. Weather. I think it's going to be shorter this week before we get onto this interesting topic. Andrew, how have you been going?
Oh, well, I got 2 parts to my hobby. I was going to have the actual hobby and then a bit of a chat.
Do you want to do that last then?
Yeah, right. We'll do it last.
Yeah.
We'll go. I don't know.
Your whole hobby last, or?
Okay. No. All right. Yeah. No. I'll start off with my hobby, and then we'll go have the little chat at the end.
Sense.
So basically, as everybody probably knew, who's been listening, I've been rebasing my dwarves, and I've continued to do so. I haven't again yet tried the loosening of PVA glue with water for my bases. So I need to get on to that. But I have basically been continuing on with my warriors. So I've done 40 warriors. I got all the warriors done that I bought the other day, and
These are
I've
dwarf
started
warriors.
dwarf warriors. Yeah,
Yep.
And I've started on my what are they called? Jeez.
Iron
No, not iron breakers. Quarrelers.
Quarrelers. There we go.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say crossbowmen, or no, they're called something else. So yeah, I'm doing them, and then that's going to leave me probably half my army done. So yeah, that'll be really good. The only reason I want to get my quarrelers done is I thought of a bit of a list revision to what I ran against you, Gomo.
You were not happy with quarrelers though when you were trying to think about them. So
I was not. Okay. I thought they were absolute garbage. But everybody seems to be running big units of quarrelers. I don't know why. Or the rangers. So I might go rangers because they got the extra pippa ballistic skill, and obviously can take them as core, throw great weapons and shields on them. And it seems like people are giving them throwing weapons as well. I'm guessing that's to take a charge. But yeah, I'm going to give them another go because clearly I'm doing something wrong.
Well, I mean, I think people have said like usually they're already lined out as well, so they get a lot of
sort of a bit static.
And
yeah.
They're not.
You don't want to be a knob and just do some like 15, 20 long friggin' line hammer. I was thinking maybe 12 max. Probably 10 might be a bit more. I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be rules on this as well. I have heard comps having like limits to line hammer. I don't know where that stands at 10 or 12. But yeah, I think it's starting to take the piss if you're going to have like 20 guys in line hammer. Well, that's just getting a bit silly, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that's where I'm at. I'll just try and give that a go because obviously, we're not too far away from Castle Assault. So.
Yeah, I know. It is funny when you say, when I say August 10, you start going, hang on, that's, June, July, August is 3 months.
Not far away at all.
Yeah.
I guess it's 4 technically just coming up because we only just passed May, 13, 14. So, but still, not long. Yeah.
But
Actually,
it's
no,
like
June,
3 months
July,
now.
August.
Like,
sorry, it is too.
It's early August.
So I am slow today. Yeah. So it is only 3.
Go next.
I don't know. We'll go. Josh.
I can go. I'm not going to. It won't be that long. Mainly just been trying to work on my first unit of the Peg Knights. Finally painting them. You know, I got started during the hobby hour that we did last week.
Ah, yes.
Painting up the bases for those. And I just sort of since carried on, done the Pegasus, most of the Pegasus bodies, and sort of working on the barding. Done a few decals now as well, and just slowly working on the journey of getting the barding done.
So when you said you did, because you were painting all those like bricks and stuff, was that just your normal pattern that you went all the way through, or is this just base coats, or like what's the
well, I ended up sort of mixing it up a little bit, like because I did the normal pattern ride, did do various shades of yellow and blues as an undercoat, and then I sort of did it with a mixture of some dark tones and the graveyard grey sort of contrast as well. I sort of mixed it together with the tone and then dry brushed it, and then I used some greens and other tones as well, and then dry brushed it again. And I think it's come out pretty good for rubble. So at the moment I'm just trying to think of how I do the standard and like the colors of his barding and how that fits with the color of the standard, and does the standards sort of fit with the rest of the army? Do I have different elements of it, because the color schemes for the barding and the standards sort of, you need some elements of it to go together. Like I feel like if the standards can be a different color to the barding on the horse, it doesn't really meld very well. Like that makes the mini just sort of clash a bit. So I'm sort of leaning towards having at least part of the standard having an element of the same colors that the actually barding does.
Do you run out of combination with painting all different Realm Knights and Pegasus Knights, like the different colors? Like, do you struggle with that or not really?
No,
because you
not
just
really.
paint different parts of it anyway.
Yeah, no, I don't really run. I mean, I try not to repeat stuff, but I mean, I use blacks and greens as well. So it's not like it's just blue, red, white, and yellow. So yeah, I like if I can add in a green or a black as well. I think that does add in quite a bit of variety. And then I've got different patterns. Some of those squares or stripes or angled or blocks or half patterns and stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of different variety that I could use.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. No, and I'm definitely going for the classic. There was at no point did I consider doing a uniform.
Yeah, I mean, I'm considering that for mine when I eventually do a Bretonnian army, but who knows? It might change by then. By the time I ever get around to that. So
yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean the thing is too. I'm realizing when I was looking at the sort of the list sort of archetypes that I wanted to do potentially for Castle or even for Gathering Darkness, like I have to do quite a bit of painting. Like I've got to do like 2 units of 10 archers, which I don't have painted. I've got to do the 2 units of pegs. You got to use the Lord on the Pegasus as well. Don't have any squires painted apart from the ones that I do have for 6 ed, but they're on 20s, so it's like I don't want to base. I don't want to rebase them, so that means I've got to redo them potentially as well. And then I'm also considering actually taking a Green Knight as well.
Oh, wow, I'm getting it out. So hang on, I can't remember. Did you paint yours or no? You never painted your one.
No, I have a sealed not resin. What's the
Finecast?
Shitty Finecast. That's it.
Yeah,
I've got a sealed Finecast one that I bought at eBay like 3 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who knows what the quality is hiding in that box waiting for me.
Maybe don't leave that to the last one you do. So
yeah.
I know.
I might be having to express post my metal one down to you or something.
Be nice centerpiece.
You have a Metal Green Knight. Why do you have a Metal Green Knight?
Because remember it got released the other day. It's for my Bretonians.
Did you buy one?
Yeah.
You just bought a Green Knight. Okay.
Yeah.
You bought 3.
Yes, I know it got released. Yeah, why am I so surprised? That's so
I thought I was getting excited. I thought I got a delivery notice from Games Workshop on Monday or whenever it was. No, last Friday, sorry. And I only picked it up today.
Did you even know what it was? You got so much stuff coming from G.
Well, yeah, because there's a couple coming. I thought, it must be the damsel on the unicorn and stuff, but it wasn't.
Which one is this?
Yeah.
It's
a little bit like that.
That's gold.
There'll be a release where I won't buy anything you watch.
Yeah, dwarves.
So he says. No, I don't know because the dwarves.
I don't know.
I don't
buy
know.
more than me.
I might.
You're gonna have enough for a full Brett army, you reckon?
I mean, no, because I've only got the starter box and a couple of those extra little things I bought. I'd still need to buy it. You need to buy multiple Pegasus Knights and stuff. And like Trabs. So there's heaps to buy for Brett's if I would want to do it.
Get something competitive.
Yeah, so it'll be a while before I do that.
I don't intend to run a Treb. Drop the Treb.
Yeah. That's a bit. Maybe we'll get to that in our rules.
The 3-inch template's a bit restrictive, which we're probably going to go into shortly.
So that might be a good segue in a minute. You've had a short hobby week. That's all you've got on, Josh? Because I didn't have.
Well, that's what I got on, but it's not really short. It's just that when I paint stuff, it takes a while, and then I don't have that much to talk about when I'm actually doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I get it totally. That's a little bit like I've got. I mean, I did have some pictures for those watching, but
pictures.
Because I was going to get a game in. So Andrew and I were going to have a game on Friday night last week, and then I inadvertently went to Sydney a day early went to this breast cancer run thing on Sunday, Mother's Day, which was really cool. But yeah, I ended up going down with my wife a day earlier, so we ended up just hanging out because the kids didn't end up coming. So we just went, we'll go down a day earlier. So unfortunately for Andrew, we had to cancel the game, so we'll try to get that in. But I was going to do a troll horde, so I ended up, even though I've got all these skeletons to paint, which I've got a batch here that I've started, which is cool. So I'll probably do that in hobby hour tomorrow. I did get, if I can move this. So what I've done I basically undercoated a bunch of trolls and all those orcs that I had, like the characters that I bought. Like I've got the those new bog big bosses and stuff. So I've basically got a lot of hero-y type stuff to paint now, just to sort of get the troll army, I guess, doable. Like with what I've got. Like I've got a few. So just to clarify, so I've got a troll hag that I got off Andrew. What I'm doing with her at the moment is just testing out different contrast colors on it because I wasn't sure how and what I'm going to do yet. So it's still a little bit up in the air. But so she looks very yellow, but you'll see when I scroll what I usually do. Actually, before I get to that, I've put together another 3 of the Troggoths. So now I've got 6.
Nice.
So basically I have 6 stone trolls. So I just got them undercoated and stuff ready for our game, but now I've potentially have a chance. Yeah, did he fully go? I just saw him.
He's fully gone.
Oh no, device not connected. Hopefully he'll be back. I'll keep going anyway, and then so there'll be 6 stone trolls, a troll hag.
Yeah,
Cool, he's back. Yeah, man. It's Josh. I just said I did some stone trolls or started, and then Zenith. I highlighted these bosses that I've got off Andrew as well as the new big boss, and then so that guy, that river troll you can see there is my old river trolls with that yellow and yellow look. So, but that's all non-contrast. So I guess what I'm trying to do is have a play around with contrast and washes to try and do a quicker version.
Similar.
But so she looks a bit mothery. I think what I'm going to do is got this yellow on her. I'm going to use Plague Bearer. So the greeny, like it's like a really, and I've got that in the darker areas, and I'll just start making her wet, like I guess look a bit old and gross from the yellow, but I'll just tone it down. So I just playing around. So really,
paint?
No, it's another contrast. It's called Plague.
Oh, okay. It's not because there's what's that Nurgle? There's like the oozy.
Yeah, I've got that too. I use that on like fingernails and stuff for trolls and giants and stuff because it makes it look like all fungus and stuff. But so they won't be done for our game, but at least they're based and everything, and I can use them. So that's all I've done. Really, I've just got a bunch of stuff ready to go, but plus the 60 skeletons I made, and I'll just do them in batches of like that's 13 there. I'll just like slowly go through them.
Plugging away.
Then the other thing I did, which I can't remember if I talked about last week, was I dug out my 4th edition Orc and Goblin book, and I took a picture of the battle report I talked about the other day that I was considering starting to buy as a long-term project, like to redo this army. And like, if you never played in 4th, it doesn't mean anything. But this is like one of the memories I have from the earliest days of Warhammer.
Oh, this is before my time, man. I don't think I've ever seen this photo before.
Yeah, so it's like, but that wyvern is the one I bought, and
you did.
Spoiler alert, that's the thing that arrived. So even though it was made to order, it came in 3 days. So I've got it.
This old memory, and now it's
but now I'm like, oh crap, they're the old stone trolls that are made to order. I probably should have bought them, and I think it's now out of. I'll have to check. I don't think I can get them. I don't know. We'll see. But I thought this is going to be a long-term project. So now that they've been out on made to order, they'll be on eBay again down the track. Like I'm not going to paint this anytime soon. And I've got, so those who are listening, it's basically like a 2,000 point. Sorry, look up this 2003 points. You can go over in old school, it was allowed.
Give or take 3 or 4 points.
Yeah, but it's the wyvern. You got 3 river trolls. It's this old, ugly-looking goblin on a spider. The old 4th edition monopose night goblin archers. I've got all them. I've got all the fanatics. I've got the doom divers. I've got the wyvern. So the only thing I need to buy, and I think I've got most of the night goblin characters, and I've got about 3 of those orcs. So really, it'd be finding 17 orc boys plus the trolls and the spider and the rock lobber, and I'd have that whole army. So then I can try and paint it up in goblin green bases and see what it looks like. It'd be pretty funny. So maybe when I'm retired, so I just got to keep getting all these figures. And then Andrew, your job is to get this guy, Thorgrim's Dwarf Command. You can go through and buy these.
I did used to have quite a few of those guys when I was younger. They're pretty cool. I do like them. It's just funny, like they're just running them all as warriors, where else I think some of those are like iron breakers.
Long bit,
So,
anyway, it's a bit of fun and a bit old hammerish. Like I notice on the old hammer forums on Facebook, they do a bit of this stuff where they try and build up an old army, or from White Dwarf days. So I thought, may as well. Now they've got the wyvern. So yeah. Anyway, that was my hobby. Let's get on to the topic, I guess. Cool. So let's intro it. Well,
did you want to have the?
Oh, sorry. No, yeah, you do that. You do yours, and I'll fill around with these screens.
Something.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, it's going a bit deep into hobby, more into the I suppose what inspires you to do stuff, or what. Anyway, it's sort of this is
the topic we had the other week.
Yeah.
Why the hell would you play this game? Yeah.
Why would you play this game? Well, this is probably
why?
One of the problems with this game. Because I was talking, and Gomo probably knows exactly what I'm going to start talking about. So yeah, this is probably a bit of a background on me if you haven't heard me ramble previously. I have a problem with war game hoarding. People call it, plastic crack addiction. I'm a cretin. I got problems. Anyway, I don't know where this comes from, and I'm surely not alone. I'm sure there's groups of men and possibly some women that get together once a month in, community halls and get up and talk about their addictions, such as what I'm going to talk about, which is basically addiction to collecting. So if anybody doesn't know, I had 7 or 8 armies not that long ago, like maybe a year and a bit ago, and I've basically done quite a bit of culling because I came to the realization that I was not going to get to it, even though deep down I knew that I was not going to get to it. And anyway, for some reason, I keep wanting to collect more after I've got rid of all this stuff, and I keep looking, and I was talking to Gomo the other day. It wasn't a lot of help because he's like, just do it.
We were talking about a Beastman army.
So supportive.
Beastman army. I had this thing like ready to go. Like I had like 2 Vanguard boxes of Beastmen, which would have got me half an army, and then I looked up this other bloke in Newcastle that was selling a bunch of other Beastmen. I'm like, this is a pretty good starter force. And then I sort of had this internal intervention. It was like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing? When are you going to get to it? It's like, you got to finish off rebasing your dwarves, then you got to rebase your vamps, and then you've also got chaos dwarves that you said you were going to start first in the old world, which you put from 10 models together, and there's still a huge box of them. Not to mention Skaven that I still probably need to port over. So I got all these things, not to mention my high elves, which I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with them. And then on top of that, I've still got
orcs too, don't you?
Yeah, I've still got half an army of orcs.
Oh yeah.
I've got a bunch of chaos I still haven't got rid of. So yeah, I got all this stuff, and then I'm just like, literally just like the fingers on the button to buy, and then I was just like, what the?
It's like a dopamine hit or something. Is it? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, I feel it too. Josh is very
egging him on, going, just buy it, man, just buy it.
Yeah.
Really
and then it comes in the mail. I unpack it. I get this little rush going through it all. Going, yeah. And then I go put it in a box in my garage.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I suppose Josh is like the anti-Andrew. Like he's
like, I think I'm a bit more in the middle, because I will admit it sounds like I'm like you, Andrew, but realistically, I think I'm just still in the old world came back. Like I hadn't done anything for like 6 years or whatever. Whereas it feels like you were buying AOS armies as well.
I was buying everything. Like the funny thing is like I bought Skaven twice within the period of 3 months. Like I remember I bought this huge Skaven army.
Oh my God.
I got rid of it.
Did you forget? Oh, okay. I was going to say, did you forget?
Nah, I got rid of it.
Oh, okay.
And then I turned around and bought another one because it was better. And there was like, I had more stuff in it. I'm like, because the other one I bought, I was like, I need so much stuff. I've got all these horde armies. When am I going to, horde armies? Like that's the problem. You get horde armies and they just take twice as long. Then I sold it, and then I went back and bought another one, and then I've only just got rid of that, and then I bought an Age of Sigmar Skaven army. So I'm like, it's like 3 times I bought this army now, but I'm going to keep this one hopefully.
Yeah.
What compels you to keep buying these armies, man? What do you?
It's the deal. It's a good deal.
Is it? Yeah, is it the deal? Is it the fact that it's a transient thing? It's going to disappear?
Nah, it's not. It's not the deal. It's just sometimes like you get excited. You like just something, just like a little spark, and then like next thing you know, it's like
euphoria.
Yeah, you like start looking through the book. You like you start getting excited. You like with with Beastman.
That's what we're talking about, like, Beastman. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The Beastman army book thing the other day, and then I was like, oh, this is a really good army. I was like, this would be really cool. You can just throw it forward, just combat, bang. It's like that'd be good to have. And then start going through the book some more. Made some lists on new recruit.
And I'm in the background going, oh, they'd be easy to paint. Just throw contrast paints.
So I suppose, like, if the guys at home, like, comment. Do you have these similar addictions? Do you know? Of course, you know people. Like, there's lots of people like me, these disgusting cretins like me out there that just, we're just filthy. Just,
I'd love to know if there's anyone. Because
why would you say it like that?
Well, just hoarding. You know what hoarders are like? You're just like this. It's almost like you go.
You hear my partner say, I don't. She wouldn't see me as any better than anyone. She constantly complains about the amount of stuff that I have, but I guess it's all relative.
Well, I was going to say, like, Josh, you like, if anything, and listeners obviously have heard us enough now that they realize, okay, Josh is much more controlled and he has his Bretonians, and yes, you've got your Wood Elves, but you've hardly even talked about, like, you only just started that other Slaanesh army. Like, it was a big deal, and that's what you've been working on. But I mean, realistically, you still have a lot of I don't know, a lot, but it's not like you buy and then just paint and you don't have anything sitting in the cupboards either. Hey, but it's mostly controlled down to the armies that you have. Like, is that right? Or do you?
Yeah. Like I try not to purchase stuff for the next project or 2 projects ahead.
Yeah.
Before I've done the project I'm working on, I guess.
Yeah.
It's almost like the delayed gratification kind of thing, whereas, I make myself focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Whereas, if I get too far ahead of myself, I'll distract myself. Like for instance, like I am still thinking about doing an Orc Tonian sort of themed Army of Infinity at some point, but I haven't done anything towards that at all.
Yeah.
Like apart from thinking about some of the concepts, even though I'm like thinking, oh, maybe at the end of the year I might like to do that, but I haven't bought anything for it or printed anything or done anything for it at all.
Yeah. I guess the difference is, you can't just print some if you wanted to. It's not that big a deal. But like,
I do have a crap load of STLs that I've purchased.
We've unraveled. Really,
that's digital.
Subterfuge. Yeah, he's the same thing, but his partner can't see it.
Yeah,
it's on a disc.
Exactly right.
Wise man.
Completely invisible.
I don't believe she's home, so now you can go back and relive the eBay purchase you did and drop it out that time. You were telling us about that. Was that a Grail Knight or something?
It was a Questing Knight. It was one of the ultra rare Questing Knight. Oh no, wait, two of them.
That's right, two of them.
Oh man, they were what, like €100 each or something? It was oh. Ridiculous
investment.
But I feel like, I was on that though, Josh. Your Wood Elves, how much stuff do you have of Wood Elves that isn't painted and stuff? Like, is it just your Bretonians a bit because they were rare, and so you bought stuff, or
what do you mean
buy
rare?
Well, like you buy stuff for your Bretonians, and they might, like, you've got a Green Knight that you haven't painted and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is it because they were so
only
rare?
Because they were rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not doing that with Wood Elves, like you're not just hoarding unpainted stuff for Wood Elves because you're not using them.
No. The only extra stuff I've got for Wood Elves is for stuff that, I've got a couple of things that I have now just so that in case I want to make that unit one day, I have it. Like I've got 4 or 5 extra War Dancers, I've got 4 or 5 Wave Watchers and some unpainted Warhawk Riders if I want them, but they're not like for any particular collecting.
Yeah,
sort of
that's just when you need to
tendency.
make the
That's
unit
more
a bit
just I've
bigger.
got prepared, so I don't have to shell out huge money for it.
Yeah.
I bought a Battle Reliquary, like a boxed, like new in box one, like years ago, 2019, with no intention of ever getting it out, but just because it was so hard to get back then.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a collecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have a huge amount of hoarded
You got self-control,
clearly.
He's got self-control. Focus is what I heard. Yeah.
I mean, I do have other game system where I've got some armies going. I've got a half semi-painted Rohan army that because I was sort of getting into Lord of the Rings and then I dropped it. And I've got a mostly painted Bretonnian army in Warmaster. And I printed a Wood Elf army in Warmaster. I never painted it, I do have some stuff sitting around.
Yeah, no better than the rest of us. There we go. I like it. And I'd love to know what Josh probably hoards is train scenery supplies for all these scenic.
You wouldn't be wrong. Actually, to be honest, half of my hoarding is actually terrain and flock and static grass. Like that literally is more than half of the volume of my hobby collection.
Is it ordered, but have you got it's all tucked away?
Yeah, it's all structured and in certain boxes, and I've got a system. It's not spread everywhere.
Yeah, my shed. It's like a hoarder's house. There's just shit everywhere. Like literally.
I was going to say, is there an army in there that you don't even know is in there? Like if you actually. I mean, you did do this though. You pulled a lot.
We found the squigs in the stripper pot.
That's true.
Yeah. It's just there is random shit. Sometimes I'll just go through and be like, oh, that's right, I got this guy. Yeah. Haven't seen him in 5 years. It's just
Yeah. I don't know what, man. Obviously, Games Workshop just like what is it? Shooting nerds in a barrel. They just know. It's collecting. I don't know what it is, but I think it's I don't know. Is it any different to other people who like buy a heap of shoes or I don't know, or always buy new clothes, or like there's people who aren't nerds who probably spend just as much on stuff they hardly touch, potentially.
Yeah,
I don't get that.
Yeah,
it's got to be like a personality trait thing. I think there's just like certain people who are impetuous for purchases when it comes to.
I always wonder about this because I don't know. I'm into I do read and business stuff and like just mindset stuff and all this. And obviously, one of the things you do find when you go through that stuff is like being a minimalist. And there's whole YouTube channels on how to live a real minimal life and all this sort of stuff. And I always think, could you ever be a minimalist but still be in this hobby? Like, how the hell? I mean, you technically sort of could in the sense that you just had one army and then played that. And
yeah, you could absolutely.
You could do it, but
or if you want to change army, you sell it. Like, I think it's
so you could do it. I just would argue that it'd be very rare that
I don't think it attracts that personality type very easily.
Yeah.
Because there's so much work that goes into these stuff that you just get very attached to it all.
Well, yeah, especially when if you're like, unless you're those competitive ones that just slap it out and, like you said, sell it and get the next one. Like these are stuff you've put hours of time in. Yeah. It'll be up to my kids to get rid of, I guess. Something.
I keep telling my wife, I'm like, if I die, do not sell that shit cheap. Don't just go down and hock it for $20. Like,
Yeah.
It's
have you given her a name to go to organize it all? Because surely that's what you need to do, isn't it? Go to
I did.
Third party,
I was actually Kieran. I said,
yeah, nice.
Well, I said, I actually told her, I'm like, well, Kieran can actually have my high elves because he's painted them. So,
you painted them.
I will them to him.
That's funny.
Oh dear. Well, on that note, shall we actually talk about the main topic?
Good to bring up though, because it's just interesting hearing someone's struggles like the rest of us. I guess I'll try not to do next time.
Real struggles.
So I'll bring up. Okay, let's get on to this series, and I think we'll do. I mean, depending on what we've got on, we'll do it every week, or we won't. I guess, tell us what you think, guys, when you listen to it. Basically, like I said, we're going to go through I don't know if I'll scroll through every page because people know the rule book. Just what our hits, misses, and our favourite parts of the rule book. And the ones we're focusing on right now, if you are following along, would be page 92 to I think it's 105, which is basically like general game principles, model profiles, the formations, units, unit types, or like the not unit types in detail, not troop types in detail. Sorry, just like the initial overview. So that's I guess what we're going to do, and then maybe just talk through. Should we talk through all the hits first, and then do that sort of stuff, like then all the misses, rather than just do one person's ones each time? Or do you guys feel like it'll work better?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's do that.
Go for it.
Okay. So, who wants to kick off? Andrew, what's one of the hits that you had around?
I don't even have it up. What do you want to tell me what I said?
Yeah, you said you were talking about the new thing that added sort of moving through units and how you can sort of.
Oh yeah. So I think it has been in previous editions to a certain extent, but I do like it. I just put it in there as a hit because it's definitely in the rule book for this edition. But obviously, if you've got the unit boundary, as long as you're not moving through the front of another unit boundary, you can sort of turn and the corner of your unit boundary can go through. So obviously, if you're doing a charge or sort of like a maneuver and your units are too close together, it does give you a little bit of scope to be a little bit more maneuverable. Which I do like, because like in real life, like models, like in an army, you're not going to be in a set square. Clearly, you're going to be pushed together and pulled apart according to maneuvering. I just feel like it's like your left and right of arc, your hard left and right of arc is obviously that the front of the unit boundary is definitely, you can't pass through that. But I find like the rear corners, I think that's definitely a good thing.
Yeah, and I think obviously they're trying to stop. A little bit of this, but particularly like there's other places in the rule where they talk about this, where like really to stop things like those railroading and just stuff where just because it had an inch gap that you just stuck, and realistically, like you said, it's in real world they're not stuck; they can move around. So I like that one. Josh, you brought up the whole no take backs. You actually liked it, documented it. You thought it was a hit.
Yeah, I did. I did like it. Because it plays off the pre-measuring thing a little bit as well, because that's obviously in this section as well, where they said you can measure anything can be measured at any time, which is was the case in 8th, wasn't the case in 6th or the ones before that. But the fact that there's no takebacks, I think is not a bad thing. Like I think that helps to in theory speed the game up in a way, in that once you've moved a unit, you sort of have to stick with it. The other side of the coin is, to some extent, if there's no takebacks, then you might spend even more time pre-measuring and dilly-dallying.
Yeah.
Do you think like I know on YouTube and even some of the people talking about the tournaments that they run, they've said that they're allowing it. Like, it's up to your partner, like your person you're playing. Obviously, unless you've moved on phases and stuff. But do you think it'll be something that really becomes the norm strictly, or do you think it's still more of a, this is one of the bits that people might bend still a little bit, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think practically you're right. They probably will bend it to a certain extent, but in terms of the conceit of it being in the rule book itself, I think it's good that they've added it in, because I think it does shift the community at least a little bit towards that side of things.
And I think over time, a year in, I think most people will be playing it this way potentially. Especially once you've rolled the dice, moved on to something else. I think, there's nothing like making you remember something when you've forgotten it. It's like, I forgot it. I'll have to order it next time. I'll hopefully remember. We've got a couple of different hits, but we're sort of just focusing. We'll do game principles and model profiles sort of as the first batch, and then we'll do formations, unit types, troop types as another batch, just so you guys who are listening and know where we are. So we're jumping around, not like just reading this out because I don't want to just, that's not what this is. I thought a hit was, and it's more in the profile section, I think, was around just the change to the base size. I mean, they talk about base sizes, but I guess I pegged on the idea that they changed the base sizes, which, again, I guess I wrote this article, so I can bend the rules. But it's, I just thought, I think overall, I think we're going to find that it's a positive change, even though it's a pain in the ass. But I've, at least the ones I've rebased onto 25s, I'm feeling like overall it's going to look better. And obviously, as the new figures have popped out, then they are a bit bigger. I sort of feel like they're not going to go crazily big like AOS, but they're going to be like a good size. And so I think overall it's not a bad change. I hope more things like the dragons end up going on the big ones and stuff like that. Like, it's a way to really prevent, these sort of crazy builds running around. So over time that might happen. But yeah, it wasn't like a massive change, but it was enough to go, okay, well, yeah, they've I thought it was positive.
Well, you're saying the positive is the fact that base size in the profile, or you're saying the positive is
just
push up to
the actual
25s?
size, like the base size. Because all I read on the topic here was base size. I mean, well, they did increase them. So yeah, that was sort of the...
Oh, sorry, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean...
And they did list them as well on the profile. You're exactly right. So there's less debate.
Yeah, because that was annoying, That's always been an annoying part of Warhammer is, okay, what bases is this? Whatever base it came in the box, man, just use that base.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's very true. The only thing they've never specified is the first number is the front, like the width, and the back, the second number is the depth of the base. Like, they've actually never specified that anywhere. And so you have had a few people go, well, hang on, the Scorpion, it's all around the wrong way, but it doesn't actually say which way I can have it. And then people are like, well, imagine putting your cavalry on 50 by 25. Yeah, it's like, anyway, people will whinge at anything, but yeah. It's a good point, Josh. I like that. It's definitely base size just listed. It's good idea too. And the fact that some of them are flexible have been really cool too. Like they've listed options or ranges
for like older miniatures and that kind of thing. I think that was good. What's the hesitation with the bigger sizes for the really small minis, like the gobos and stuff? Like, I'm not sure that they really fit nicely on 25s.
No, there's going to be a couple, and I agree. I just think maybe when you think long term on the game, I think it's going to be a good thing. And so, I guess, I mean, I don't want to go into. Let's keep it with hits because there is always negatives to some of these, but it is what it is. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're about to go into misses, aren't we? Anyway.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Okay. Let's do that. Andrew, a miss for you. You had templates.
Oh, I know my templates. Yeah, so this is going to be the most contradictory thing ever because I got templates in the same two different areas. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of templates in some situations, just mainly because of the scatter. It's just, it can be, if you get somebody really competitive, it's just another point to argue over sometimes, if you know what I mean. When you do scatter it and how far it's gone and how many guys it's under. I know at the end of the day, you're arguing over, maybe 2 partials or 3 partials at the most. So it's not the end of the world, but yeah, definitely can be a bit of a point of contention. I've just sort of not had a few arguments, but like, I don't know, a few people I've played with have sort of taken the piss, I think, on where a template has scattered. But I mean, that's just me. I do, as I'll go into it, I do like them for other reasons, but that's...
No, I agree. It's one of those things where they're always been a little... It's for a tournament. I mean, it's not a tournament game, so it doesn't really matter, even though we use it as tournaments. But it's always been one of those things that was a bit contentious what hit. And I think when you start talking about like partial versus not, like you're saying, sometimes you wonder if if it's at least touching it, it's in, and then you don't have any of those issues as much. But even that, I guess, is debatable. So
yeah, like you're arguing over 0.5 millimeter sometimes. But anyway.
Yeah. You had a miss, Josh, around templates as well.
I also ran templates, to go on the same topic.
Yeah.
But it was a different element of it, which is that they stayed the same size, where the bases actually got significantly larger.
Yeah.
Which became
and
a
then
huge...
they did the partials on top, because 8th just used to hit everything, didn't it? Is that what happened in 8th?
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
I thought they had partials. But I felt, did they have, or was it just simply clipping the base? I don't know.
I think
because
something changed at one point.
But,
maybe.
I thought they did have partials still, but it was just that the bases being 20s, you were hitting so many, it didn't feel as punishing. Like even going from 2025s, because on that graphic there, they've got like 9 in total being touched, and I think I was reading with the 20s, you would get like a maximum of 18 or 21 bases potentially clipped.
Yeah,
if you had the 3-inch template in the right spot. Which is just like an order of magnitude, more effective than on 25s.
Yeah. The poor war machines got really nerfed, didn't they? Like
I think they got massively nerfed.
Oh yeah,
massively nerfed. Yeah. Like because you're forced to aim at a single unit, which means that if the unit is an odd number wide, then as in that image there, you're missing out potentially on multiple full hits if you were to elect to aim between 2 bases and that type of thing. And the fact that you can only hit so few, it's pretty.
It's a good point. I just realised, and I knew that, but then I'm thinking, why did I make all my movement trays 6 or 8 wide? That's a bit dumb. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I know. It is dumb. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Indeed.
I had a couple, so I'll just mention one though, because I was just in my notes here anyway. I was just throwing ideas down. But I think in hindsight, having read FAQs now and stuff like that, I think when I started reading the general principles, and they were talking about, measurement directly towards and directly away, which is really good. They seem to be like, they're really defining a lot of stuff. And then in hindsight, I'm looking back and they're like, they just didn't define really like what a model was properly, because they've used it in so many different ways when they've talked about model profiles and the actual figure or the base, and I just feel like it needed a couple of extra definitions in here, which was just like this, whatever it is, a model is this thing, and models have multiple profiles, and that, so in their case, a rider and its mount could be profiles, but not the model, and stuff like that. Or whatever, however they choose.
Yeah,
to do
just
it.
however they want to use it. Whereas, if one model has multiple profiles in the model, or just something that fits with the flow of the game.
Because it just seems like it seems like they've,
because that FAQ really muddied the water,
confused it sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, so it's built into here. They could easily add it in down the track or whatever. It's just I think it's a miss, big swing and miss that they just didn't do it. And I guess my secondary one to that was stuff like the armor value, where they're sort of talking about armor value, which is really good, but then they use that in wards, and then it got confusing with regen, and just it's like, it was so close to being right, and then it was a miss.
Plague
of Rust pops up, and suddenly the whole thing is disastrous.
What are your favorite parts about sort of what they've done though with profiles and definitions and stuff? Andrew, this is yours. Templates.
This is me again. My templates. I did, as much as I find there is contention and negatives to it, it is a cool, fun little wacky part of the game. Sometimes when you got like a little dwarf gyrocopter, and you can put this sweet little flame template and flame a whole bunch of guys. Like it's just, it's a bit fun at the same time. But obviously there's negatives to it. But I think people do like using templates because it is that extra element, and it's like a physical aspect to the game that you can like actually denote exactly how big, and it's sort of like it's this big arc of flame and things like that. So that's my positive for it.
And the other thing is just they're not always on top of units. I mean, obviously they end up sometimes, but yeah, the fact that you got templates means your magic can have templates, like you just said. It just made me think another question, because I can't remember Ninth Age, because they weren't really using templates. They were doing that blast or whatever the hell it was and dice.
Yeah.
Did they end up? Did you have like flame templates, like as in magic vortexes?
I was like,
at all?
I think they had vortexes. No, they got rid of the templates. So yeah, for flame template, they just went for like breath weapons, like 2d6 sort of thing.
Yeah, which I don't mind either. But I can't remember what the magic was like. Could you throw a purple sun through someone?
Yeah, no, they got rid of all that. Yeah.
Oh,
thank God.
My favorite, and it's funny because it's sort of not. It's I could argue both ways, but I actually do like pre-measure that it came back. I know it's a bit controversial because there's a lot of people who don't like it, but I don't know. Overall, I don't know. There's something about I can play online a bit easier, and I can, I don't know. Like you can just, if you're not slowing the game up, it's still nice. Better like when you're deploying, just making sure that that's in range and stuff like that. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I just find it easier. So for me, it's a win. I'll probably change my mind as I play it more. I don't know, but I did like 6 when I was back playing it last year, and it wasn't. So. It's not that I'm bad at guessing. It's just, I think it's just easier. Did you have a favourite sort of in that section, Josh? Or
not really. I feel like we've covered most of that section now. I don't think there's much else I can really.
Nah, cool. It's
follow off on.
Bit of sort of the bland sort of background. Yes. You don't have a favourite characteristic? Number of wounds? No. I was actually going to add that though.
The armor value.
Yeah.
Being a Bretonian.
Yeah, being a Bretonian. I actually like that they kept all the same stats. I thought it just definitely feels like Warhammer. I don't know if over time that'll change and, but, you saw with 40k and AOS how, it's definitely changed. Sort of nice to have the same, like we're rolling weapon skills against each other and stuff, which is cool. Okay, so formation, unit, troop types. I think you guys are going to wing this one because we added it on the end because we thought this first one wasn't going to take very long.
I've got
this is talking about, I'll just go through what it would be. So the formation types, things like close order, open order, skirmish, lance, that sort of thing. But then obviously on top of that, they've got that, combat order and marching column inside that for close order. That adjusts your rank bonus. I guess they've added some of that. They got this idea of disrupted units in this section. There is the removing casualties section, which is I guess things like that multiple wound model doesn't roll over, which I think it has in them. I can't remember which versions it might have. And that's stepping forwards there, but not step up. And then it also covers model and unit facing, so your normal ranks, flanks, that's always been there. It has the stuff about line of sight, so take that into account when you're thinking about this. That the thing that appears to be line of sight is like base to base, but then they also talk about getting down and check the model's point of view. So they do cover that section. And then just before Magic, they do a brief section on troop types at a glance, where we get intro to the infantry, cav, chariots, monsters, war machines, and the idea of subcategories under them, though I don't think they go hugely into that. They just talk about infantry, also has monstrous infantry as an example. And then that the troop type table is in there. So it's got the regular infantry, heavy infantry, monstrous with the different ranks, different rank bonuses, and the unit strength is briefly mentioned right at the end. So there's a fair bit in that section. So do you want me to do my hit first, and then you guys can be thinking about your hits in that section?
Sure.
Yeah.
Go for it.
So, and I probably had a couple of different ideas, but I just went with the more I've played it, I was a bit worried when we was reading this first, but as I've played it more, I do like that they've brought in this idea of close and open order and skirmish and stuff. I'm a little bit debatable on the implementation of that. Forget that, but the idea that units move differently based on that has been really cool, because then you've got things like even just open order where they get that free pivot, but close order doesn't. It feels like, they're just slightly different. You get different advantages, even though when you look at them, they might look like normal, infantry units ranked up. That just that little difference is pretty cool. It'd be nice maybe down the track that can be expanded or something down the track, like they did with like the Lance formation. But obviously you don't want to make it too complex because it is pretty damn confusing when you start and then you're going, hang on, but what's marching column? And like it gets. And can I change between them? And all, because you think you can, but you don't realize it's really just a rule. And then, anyway, there's definitely some things to it. But I thought it was a good addition to the rules. Yeah.
Yeah, it adds a certain level of depth and distinct flavour to different unit types, that the game's not really had before. I like the marching column addition too. Now the context of knowing that there are certain rules that play off that now. Yes, good old drilled. Having that in there as a specific rule. It's a pretty thematic rule. About having troops in a certain shape being able to march more quickly than if they were, wider at the front. There's you see popping up little ideas about how they potentially that rule could be abused, but as a thematic concept, I don't mind that they've dreamt it up and plonked it in there.
Yep. That's a good one. Yeah. What about you, Andrew? Any that float your boat in those couple of topics?
You literally said exactly what I was going to say.
The open order ones.
I didn't actually see what your comment was because I put my notes in.
Oh, right.
First.
Cool.
Yeah. But I was trying to find another one. I was like, I could actually find. I've got other for the what I don't like.
Okay. I've got one more positive one, which I think was cool, was the different models per rank and rank bonuses and stuff based on troop types of subcategories. I thought that.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% on the numbers that are in the table, but I think that was quite interesting.
I think it's good.
Again, to try and make, and what we probably haven't seen, and that's probably just the addition, is like, that heavy infantry is so much better than sort of regular. I don't know if that's like shown in this, and it doesn't really do it, but I think the idea was potentially there that these models types could have different versions of models per rank, maximum rank bonus, stuff like that.
Shall we touch on the maximum rank bonus limits while we're on that topic?
Yeah, well, that was my missed one.
Yeah, I saw because I think I agree with you about that.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, well, I can talk about it. So it's basically so with that table, it feels just conflicting a little bit to me, where they've obviously brought down the number of maximum rank bonus. So I felt like with all the other changes in Linehammer and the stuff, I felt like, and what we're seeing with infantry probably not being, hugely powerful, although we don't fully know. I don't see why +3 would have been that that game breaking.
I agree. And maybe even not for monstrous infantry, or maybe even not for heavy infantry, but regular infantry, a minimum you would think would have been worth on a +3 on.
So I thought it was a little bit of a miss that the results of it just ended up being it's almost pushing things to be line, and that I don't mind wide units a bit, but I don't want them massively wide because then it starts looking a bit weird. So
it's not rewarding ranked up units reliably enough, I feel.
Did you have any?
One of the hits that I had too, because I may as well keep going, was the fact they had stepping forward, but they didn't have a step up rule. Like they have essentially.
Gotcha. Yeah.
They kept this reminiscent of the 6th ed rather than going the 8th ed direction.
And you like that, don't you?
Yeah.
That was actually one of my favorites as well. Yeah,
because that's another rule that we now take for granted almost, but that was because that plays off so much the other rules about initiative and charging and that type of thing as well, which adds a lot of depth to the game. But it all starts with that having that rule, and that's what adds so much importance to actually charging. Tactically and strategically.
Yeah, although for me as well, it sort of does add on to that hero hammer a bit, which I think was not massively plagued 6, but it was definitely a strength. Was having a strong hero in a unit, because obviously the units aren't going to be as strong with limited rank bonuses, and obviously not being able to return attacks if models have been killed in the by the opposing unit.
Yeah. No, I just think I was a little. I think when we were going through what was it, what they call those weekly updates we were getting, the
yeah.
I was a little skeptical of the. It's just, when you're trying to like remember all the time. Oh yeah, you've killed 3 of that, and but like I said, Josh, it's sort of second nature. It just comes back. Having played 6 anyway, straight up before this, it wasn't a problem. But it makes it's fine. I don't know, but I did enjoy 8th a little bit, where it was just like, yeah, look, roll the dice, and it just seemed to be quick. But the fact that it just created these massive units and made it even harder to get into because of the numbers of figures you needed, I don't mind it going.
It created massive units and it was less strategic,
Yeah, exactly.
It was just like, it didn't matter the context of the who charged or what. It's just like, this is just essentially a regular round of combat. Everyone gets a strike. The thing with the hero hammer thing, I mean, I guess it depends on the context of where the hero is, but if it's like a guy and a dragon, they're just going to be challenged anyway, right? Like, I feel like the lack of static combat res is the thing that's hurting these units more than like it step up, depending on the context of it. But
because some get it, some can't.
Because the dragons are now getting close order. You're only getting 2 ranks. It's really these big blocks are really not getting much static combat res anymore.
Yeah, I was just thinking more the character in a unit.
Yeah, so you like, because that way he's still there, unless they're targeting him. They're always getting his attacks back. Yeah,
and then obviously you both got a champ, so you can't always get challenged out.
Yeah, fair enough.
What other misses did you guys have in this sort of section?
Well, I had, contrary to both of you, marching column.
There you go. Wow.
I find it a pain in the ass. I haven't seen anybody bloody use it. So far. So I don't know if people out there actually are using it. So comment if you are, and I'm just a imbecile.
My prediction there, Andrew, would be that people would use it, but they're fucking too late. I'm too lazy. I've just spent all this time magnetizing and fucking making movement trays. I don't want to have to change it. And that's the frustrating bit when I saw this come out. I was like, I made a video of the things I loved in 8th edition 10 years ago. It's on the channel somewhere, you can see it. And one of them was literally magnets. That I came from a period of time when I didn't have money and I was moving everything individually. I had a random few movement trays, but when I got into 8th and everything was people were magnetizing, I plugged it all in. I was like, this is awesome. And then when this came out, I was like, hang on, I'm going to have to move shit around, but I don't want to pick up the figures. I actually like the idea that the game was like big chunky units moving around.
Fair.
So I sort of agree with you, Andrew, but I think we're not seeing what it could do given drilled, because people probably like me, they're too lazy to go. I'm not changing. I'm not changing the formation.
I'm probably a bit salty after raising too many zombies and accidentally putting myself into marching columns.
Oh no,
this is a shit rule.
It almost feels like, and maybe it'd be over. It probably would be over. Well, would it? I was just thinking, because the other day I was thinking about this. I was like, oh yeah, put him in triple march and right up the board. Who cares? And I don't care if I get charged anyway, because do I really, like skeletons, for example? I'm not going to win combat anyway. But then I was like, oh, I can't charge, so like I could move up and they just stand there anyway, and they don't have to. They're not going to get blocked by me. So then the question becomes, well, is it that bad if they can charge, but they just don't have any? Maybe they can never claim any rank and bonuses and banners and stuff. So they're really just there to march fast and like crash into someone. And you might be able to use it more. Because it's very easy, as we'll get into in future episodes, to get out of combat. So, maybe that's not that bad that you get charged by a marching column for, half a turn effectively, So I don't know.
Nah, I think it's like it could have been better. I just think it's a bit of an odd addition. I don't know if they did that for just only dwarves, maybe to give them more range or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You're probably not seeing people use it to the point. Like the other thing I think about, like faster cavalry as such, who could do this, which because you have to be like the wolf riders in, what's the one the new one, the roaming, what are they called? Not the ravening hordes, the nomadic war.
Yeah.
Because they can go closed order, you could put them in marching, and go 30 inches up the board or whatever it is. So maybe those things might be pretty useful if people know how to use it. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm guessing like maybe things like castling. If somebody's castling, you can maybe, if you're not going to get charged for a couple of turns, it does give you a bit of space to move.
Or could you use it as a trap in the sense that you do it and you move it up and then they go, well, you can't charge me. I'll get him in the flank. And then they come in the flank. But you're like, yep, I did that deliberately because you're not going to kill this unit because it's big enough or whatever. And then now I've baited you into a flank charge on my own troops and then I can get you. Is there some trickiness there? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Did you guys have anything else?
Yeah, if you had another unit next to it, so you've done a flank charge, and then hopefully you fall back in order and pop through the other unit, and so then they overrun into that unit, right? And then now you can just reform and then charge something else.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. There could be something there. Yeah, I was sort of thinking because like trying to take on dragons, you're like, yeah, but dragons are never going to charge stuff that they don't want to. But then you're like, what if you give them a really juicy flank charge with a shitty marching column of skeletons? they just won't be able to resist. Taking on frenzied troops, like just pushing them up there right in their frenzy range and making them charge you, disrupting all those turn one, like impetuous knights and stuff, just like march up there.
Yeah.
Because you can have a pretty small unit, can't you?
You could. It just needs to be deeper than it's wide.
Yeah, you can have just like, darts, like 5 unit of 1 by 5, So, anyway, I mean, there will be people who know a lot more about than me using that, but.
Yeah.
You had miss. That was your miss. Did you have a miss, Josh?
Did I have a miss? Not really. No. Remember. This is a good section, I feel.
Right.
Aside from my only one probably was the same one you had, which is the maximum rank bonus limit.
Oh yeah.
Aside from that, I don't have many complaints about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have a favorite.
Yeah, go for it.
Which is the line of sight rules.
Ooh. Nice. Awesome.
Because I really like those, like it's so clear. It's just using the base. Things can get in the way. Things, it actually makes sense. It's not just the awful sort of true line of sight where if you see the edge of a sword from behind a tree, you can see him. It's bizarre that they were so clear about the base being blocking line of sight when they weren't really clear about how the base interacts with the model and the profile. The definitions that you were talking about. Like that's really odd.
But even when they talk here that,
because we had to deconstruct this. Yeah, we had to deconstruct this back in the day.
And you almost need to look at this section, though, with the terrain as well. Because once you read the terrain rules, it becomes a bit clearer.
You have to go down to the forest rules and read the arboreal gloom rule.
Yeah.
Else. But once we worked it out, the way the rules are structured are actually good.
Yeah, I really like, I mean, again, we're jumping ahead in different sections, but how this works with, especially forest, like it feels like it's use, and this is a little bit of a shame why you don't have much scenery on the board with there only 6, pieces of scenery or whatever. But I feel like there is, there's play in the scenery and it makes a difference, but not in a real bad way. Like it's tactical. Like if you can make sure someone's if they're gonna charge you, they're gonna lose a dice off their charge roll and all that crap. It's
and a movement inch.
It's actually kind of good, but it also doesn't stop. It's not like 6th where, oh crap, I'm in a forest.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's all I'm doing all game because I can't get through it. You know,
absolutely horrendous.
So, yeah,
Bloody forest.
Yeah, no, yeah, 6 is awful in that regard, which is why all the time we ended up house ruling that you can march to in a forest at least, because otherwise you'd take your 6 turns to get out of the forest, which is the whole game.
yeah, it's just dumb.
Yeah.
I liked unit strength coming back, being in there. I thought that was good too. That was one of my favourite ones they added, and I guess the other way, I put no step up as a favourite as well. Just I think I've gone back to liking that more than I thought I would have initially, like I said before. So yeah. Did you have a favourite, Andrew, that was not like a hit or a miss?
I had the same as what you had, the no step up for the old 6th. And again, that is coupled with the miss of the troop types. I think those two are like creating a bit of a problem. Like I do like the no step up, but just being able to get static combat res, it would have been nice just for your blocks to have a bit more. Because if you got a low, I suppose, initiative unit against a high initiative unit, and you don't have any ability to generate attacks, like they're just so weak because it's just so hard to get that static combat res. So yeah, it's just for dwarves. I just find things like some of the units are just do get quite weak. Sometimes like your dwarf warriors and whatnot, but that's just me. But they're tough in other ways, so it's just me griping.
Yeah, I mean, no, but it's similar. Like, they're all little misses here. Like, even going back to that infantry thing, like the one that's interesting to me is like heavy cav and light cav have differences, and monstrous cav and all that stuff. But heavy infantry, I think, was the only difference really is that they can't get. They can disrupt. No, they can't be disrupted unless it's a unit strength 10 in the flank or something. Is that what their rule is?
That's right.
Yeah. But with models like 4 rank models per rank, but if you want to stay out of marching column, it means you can only have like 4x3 unit, or 4x4, I guess. A little, which is I guess isn't that bad. I just feel like I don't know. I look at it and go, it just didn't. It doesn't seem to be much different or much stronger.
Nah.
It doesn't seem to be
not with everyone go wide, like
yeah.
If anything, going wider with the heavy infantry.
Yeah, it might have been better. Yeah, that's stuff like that. So maybe there was just some little, but again, it's more of a miss. Like I liked overall that they did it. I just think maybe now that it's been running, we might see changes down the track. Who knows? Maybe not. I don't know.
I hope they do. I would love to see either a higher maximum rank bonus or more bonus per rank, because either one of those would really help blocks of infantry, which at the moment are really struggling in the meter of the game.
Yeah. Which is a bit of a shame.
The other miss here is monsters and then monstrous creatures and monstrous cav, and no one, people who don't read the rules probably are just totally confused. And I know you go, why? How can you be confused at this? But they still are. There's so many people who like just get confused that monstrous, like, but it's a behemoth, and you're like, yeah, it's a monster, dude. There's 2 categories, there's 2 levels. To this. It's amazing that people get that part.
Yeah, that is
wonky,
ridiculous.
But I guess it is. What
no,
it is.
I can understand why it's confusing, isn't it? Like
Yeah, you could have come up with some other name. I mean, they did it with behemoths. It's not monsters, but
yeah, the fact that the monstrous creatures are a subtype of monster, like that's like they could have made that better.
Agree. Yeah.
Could have thrown that into Chat GPT. They probably only printed these last year, so they could have asked it to give them.
They should have just called the whole category like big scary things
or creatures,
and then monstrous creatures.
Yeah.
They put in that many creatures, then it's still monstrous creatures. Like that's still not helping.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's sort of the idea. Well, hopefully people can let us know what their hits, misses, and any favourite things in those sections. We're going to try cover, as I said, we might not do it every week, but we will try to get through the main bulk of the rule book over whenever, the next month or so. I think next, I can't remember what it will. It talks about magic, but that's the short part of magic, is it? I don't know.
Shooting, was it?
it's magic in there.
Was it magic?
Do
Yeah.
a bit of magic. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll probably do magic. That's a pretty big one. So maybe we'll definitely go through that. But if we go quick, we might do magic and strategy phase, stuff like that. Do them in 2 lots and smash through them. Let us know, guys, what your hits, misses, and your favourite rules are. And we're going to have a discussion on YouTube comments about it. That'd be really cool. I think that's about it for our episode.
Yep. Oh,
nice and
early
quick.
one.
An
I
early
know
mark.
myself.
Yeah. It's a good length.
Have you guys got anything you want to add? Otherwise, yeah.
Not really.
No. Other than, well, I
pretty
can't say we'll see you tomorrow because this won't be coming out
Yeah, that's
until
I screwed it up last
after
time,
the
so
hobby.
hopefully, whoever's watching this, you were on our live stream yesterday when this comes out.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for
One
tuning
thing
in.
I almost forgot to mention. Did you see the comments answering? You were asking me last week about the vibrating.
Oh yeah,
Garrett things next to your 3D printer potentially.
we might
They
have
had,
to
like,
have that as a topic. Answering
multiple answers go with various high vibrating things that they had next to their printer.
and did not matter. I couldn't believe. I was like, wow. Okay, so I'm so new at it. I was like totally, what do you call it? Just inexperienced and don't even have an experienced 3D printer. So I have no idea. I'm just going off.
Did you update the community comment?
Yeah. What was it? That's right. The guy had a treadmill next to his printer.
No, I can't remember. Did I update that I'm getting it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I can't remember. Maybe I did.
Really
No, I don't think I did. I think I was talking about getting a Saturn 4
Possibly,
or Saturn
yeah,
4 Ultra
You
last week.
haven't announced that you've actually bought it, actually. Yeah.
Maybe I should have done it in that hobby. I have bought the
probably should have.
Saturn 4, not the Ultra, because Richard said get the Ultra, but then I went, oh, damn, I've already bought it. And the reason why I did that was because I'm impatient and they didn't have a date on the Ultra. Like it sounded like it might be end of July or something.
Why do you have to get it ASAP? Like,
well, I don't know.
Been thinking about this from
the start. Yeah, I know. But at the
Guys
same
are so
time, I thought I
impulsive.
don't have to start with the bigger one. Like, I don't know. Like, as in, I'll go with this one, and if I'm using it, then I can upgrade later or something. I think it'll be fine. It's a bit cheaper.
Right.
Because I'm going to end up buying all the other crap as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, yeah, I wasn't necessarily convinced that it'd necessarily be worthwhile the extra $150 over the regular one. There's some quality of life things in there, but
yeah,
I think you'll be fine with the regular one.
Yeah, might have made a mistake, but I'm sure it'll be right. It'll print them. I mean, obviously, there's probably no difference with the actual. Oh, actually, there is a slight difference because it uses that different technology. I don't know what it is between the two as well. Different screen thing. Can't remember what it's called. And there's actually reviews on what it looks like between the two.
Really? Oh, I thought the printing was the same. Oh, okay, I missed that.
Is it like I can't remember the terminology without looking at it. Maybe we can cover that next week. I'll have a look at it and we'll
I have to look it up because I thought the specs were
3D
the same.
printing special.
Yeah, it's a slight different screen thing on it or whatever the technology there is. I don't know. I think that's the one anyway. I might be getting that totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. So anyway, cool. Well, that's probably the show then. Yeah. Anyway, cool. Okay. Well, we'll hit one of these topics next week. I don't know. Do we have anything planned YouTube-wise this week? We might try. I did put the vote out for Faction Focus, so if it comes in and we think we can smash one out, there might be one over the next week. We'll just see how we go.
Yep.
Potentially.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll see.
Okay, guys.
Yep.
Yeah. No, sorry, Josh. What was that?
I was gonna say. I'm heading to Malaysia next week.
Oh,
So
it is
we'll see
next
if I
week.
can
Actually, we should have
squeeze it
brought
in.
that up. Yeah, because I don't know if Andrew was on when you were telling us that.
No, yeah,
No.
it was just before. No, he wasn't on
Oh, okay, yeah.
Um,
so
this
Josh
weekend.
isn't going to be here next Monday because he's overseas. So it'll just be
Ooh.
probably Andrew and myself. So yeah.
I might be able to literally phone it in if I can get it.
No
get it
pressure.
running on my phone.
Doing some
All good.
roadies over in Malaysia.
Yeah. Cool. Anyway, let's close this one out. So thanks for listening to another Old World Fanatics episode. If you enjoy our ramblings, please leave us a 5-star review on your podcast software of choice. If you're watching on YouTube, like we said at the beginning, please hit that like and subscribe and hit the bell button for all our latest videos. And just reminder too, thanks for the patrons who are supporting us monthly with their donations. But if you want to jump on board, it's patreon.com/oldworldfanatics. And you can get in contact us with all the socials, although we're probably more active on YouTube, on our Old World Fanatics YouTube channel. So until next time, guys, thanks for listening, and thanks for you two for coming on and spending another 2 hours with me.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
See you tomorrow.